EPA has been able to break through the authority in getting vehicles that will help in its activities. We scheduled to get 80 pickups to resource our various offices. We have 40, and 40 is coming. Recently, my CEO was interviewed about this, and she gave these figures. A lot of staff have been hired. Previously, EPA was understaffed, and now we have hired more staff. That is why EPA is visible now than before. Previously, people don't know much about EPA and what we do. Now, because we have a lot of staffs, people are always on the field enforcing compliance and see to it that we can make the environment sustainable. There is a publication in the media today about ban on open burning. I just saw it shown to me by a colleague in the newspapers, and also we have issued a statement on the ban on styrofoam, which will take effect from January 1st January next year. And we are also been doing compliance activities. We have been fighting galamsey in our own way. If you could remember, just recently there was a noise about dechemicalization. EPA tried to see how we can clean our water bodies that have been polluted. And so EPA is doing a lot, and we have also programmed a lot to be done. We will be doing some public education on the ban of styrofoam. The CEO will be championing it. We'll be going to the marketplaces and all those to speak to people. We have also gone online. That is how to, apply for EPA permit. Either you have to walk to the office. And so we have gone online now. So to get an EPA permit, you need to apply online to get an EPA permit, which is more comfortable, transparent, and also gives you up to date. And in real time, you can get your application or environmental permit in without any sweat or hazard. So EPA has been doing a lot. Thankfully, by the CEO and her team, they put a lot of measures in place, and they are doing a lot to make sure that our environment is safe for us to live in. The galamsey fight is a fight that needs a lot of stakeholders to come on board. EPA cannot do it alone. EPA is doing its best to play a role, but we need a lot, including we ourselves, as citizens of the country. We must also change our attitude. A lot of us are given to quick money, and that is why many people are going to the galamsey. So the fight against galamsey, we have not lost it totally. EPA is doing its best, but we need all of us to come on board so that we can be able to win this fight against galamsey. So NIMOT is doing its bit. The chiefs and the locals in the community must also support. Some of these, the galamsey fight is a very complex fight. It's not a simple one. So we need everybody on board, all the stakeholders on board to be able to fight it. So if you are fighting it from one side and the other side doesn't support it, you cannot win the fight. These community people, they must also show goodwill towards the fight against galamsey. And so when everybody comes on board, including you, the journalists, and everyone, you are doing your bit also. If we all rise up to the occasion, this fight against galamsey will be won. But if we leave it to one or two institutions, the politician or the government cannot do it alone. You all have to come together as a nation and fight against this galamsey. That is the only way we can win it. But if we leave it to a few institutions or individuals, we cannot win this fight against galamsey.
I think it's all about commitment. And then, it's all about commitment. If you look at Goforce, like I mentioned earlier, we have a very strong governance structure, and it's very key. The governance structure is a very key one. This is where you see the hand of top management commitments, or like top management in the whole thing, in terms of budgetary allocations, in terms of resources, and then also in terms of the systems. Systems is a very important one. If you heard me during my presentation, I mentioned that we align ourselves with a lot of systems. Those from ICMM, those from the ISO, those from the SANAI code. from the GIST, and that's the global standard on tailings management. So almost all the systems, we make sure that, the good ones, make sure that we adopt them. And it is part of the governance framework that we visit. So if you want to ask of what is the difference between ours and those others, I think it's about the governance structure, the systems, in place, and then the commitments towards, their implementation. And that is where Goforce, I think, from my side, I think they are, stand apart in terms of, all that. And I think if we're able to institute similar structures and framework for our country and for other industries we're asking, I think we'll see a similar result like we are seeing, from our side. Like I mentioned, we are not up there, cannot be 100%. It's always continual improvement, and we are really pushing hard to make sure that we achieve those the continual improvement, outcomes. So, yeah. It's all about responsibility and accountability. You need to take up the responsibility. You need to make sure that, look, I'm accountable. Taking responsibility, being accountable, and then getting the right motivating, tools will help you to, stay. Why not? It's long overdue. My PhD, my research has always been in a small scale sector. But I was saying last, I look at the technical side. There's something that you don't hear about it, but you look at the technical side of it. Okay, so to answer your question, I think it has to be regulated. So I think the time is now, and it's really long overdue to make sure that it's well streamlined. That is it. Yeah.
We are here this morning to join the community of CSOs to really project how we can be able to protect our environment in order to really create a safer environment for us to live, because we could be able to look at the environment to see how the Galamsey is really destroy the land, destroy our water bodies, destroy our farm, and we see the need on pushing this agenda in order to be able to create an enabling environment for our children, because a lot of children are born in the hospital deformed just because of the water that they are drinking and they are using. And there are a lot of things, that the Galamsey has really destroyed. Looking at most of the production, because of the fact that a lot of places, a lot of land has been destroyed through the activities of Galamsey. The farm activities also has reduced, and because of that, that's increased the price on the market, on the products that we're buying at the market. So there is need to really continue to really project the voice of stop. Putting stop to activities of Galamsey in Ghana, in order to really have a future, create that future that we all looking out for as Ghanaian, as African. And most importantly, in Groom Young Africa, that's one of the things we project among the youth community, so that because youth community also, they realize that at least with the rate of unemployment in Ghana, they want to also go into a short form of making something for themselves, which Galamsey is not the alternative. So we are also pushing the agenda so that youth in the community can be educated that Galamsey is not the order of the day to survive. There are so many things. We prioritize skill development in Groom Young African Network, so that we can be able to push youth into engineering, fashion, braiding, and so on and so forth. That Galamsey is not the order of the day. We shouldn't have to destroy what we are going to live to meet in the future. Imagine when we destroy all the land, what are we going to use to farm and to produce the food? So there should be a collective effort. I'm calling on the CSOs, I'm calling on the legal practitioner, I'm calling on every security aspect part of the nation, so that we can be able to, I'm calling on the traditional rulers as well, so that we can be able to come together to really voice out and push the agenda and stop the Galamsey activities. It's going to help us to really have a peaceful and a safer environment for us to live.